Well, welcome. I'm Tom Laughlin. I am coordinator of the Creative Writing Program, and before I get started with things, I want to offer Linda Team and Jessica Cronin to step up and say a quick hello from our Office of Student Engagement, who provide us with these wonderful snacks and help fund this program and all of our events and readings through the Creative Writing Program. So, Linda and Jessica. Let's hear it. Let's hear it for snacks.
Hi everybody, I'm Jessica. I'm the admin with Student Engagement. This is Linda, our coordinator. We have events like these. We have our faculty partnerships. So any events that are at the college, if faculty wants to take you on field trips, things like that, we help make that happen. We also do any student clubs. We do PTK, NSLS, student government, things like that. So if you ever have any questions about getting involved on campus with co-curricular activities, you can come see us.
I think there's a plug. That's the Tom, right? The creative.
There is.
Creative learning.
They used to be called Mad Queens Club.
No, don't be misnaming it now. No, that's okay. Yes, it's called Writer's Wonderland. And so if you're interested, the president and vice president officers, put your hands up there, Anna and Jared, so do check in with them. Virtual on Monday nights at 5.
I think we're changing.
What's up?
We might be
We're actually
changing it.
changing.
Oh, are you? Okay. I'll let you talk with them. There we go.
Awesome.
So, I hope you guys do great tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Another round of applause for student engagement. Yes. Awesome. So, welcome again. And Professor Nardoni's here. We can start. That's good. I want to thank Maria McDuffie Clark and also Jessica and Linda, others in the Office of Student Engagement. Also want to thank Dean of Liberal Arts Matthew Olson, Chair of English Jill Keller, who was here, Jeff Kaplan and his interns helping us out with communications, recording events, and posting those. Lots of great stuff on our website. Beth Noel from the marketing office, who helps us get word out. There are, I did mention our website. We have Dead River Review is our literary magazine, and we're looking for submissions. There's also our website and QR codes outside the door there. If you pop there, you can get to our website and see other events like these happening on campus, as well as links to the Dead River Review and call for submissions. So I'm excited. We've got, I think, 16 readers today. So let's dive in. And lots of poetry and fiction. I've tried to do some varying of order. I'll see. It's flexible, and we may shift some things around. But I put together a tentative order anyway for some of the people who are reading. So let's give a round of applause and get started with some poetry from Connor Burrell. Connor.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor and I have 2 poems to read today. The first is called My Wax Figure. I get up and drag myself to the mirror. Who is it that I see? I see a shadow with regrets, yet he is proud who he has grown to be. Stepping from the shadows into the light, I wonder if my life is a candle burning on borrowed time. I am ever shaping, ever forming, always an opportunity to craft this melting wax figure, its molten eyes staring back at me. A wax figure stepping from the shadows, destined to travel between these realms. There is more work to be done, so I get ready for the day, filled with hope and dread. The wax figure in the shadows that meets me in the mirror has taught me that there will always be a balance of good and bad, regrets and smiles. Forward I walk, for if I can't look upon my life with both regret and hope, then who am I? And the second poem is a shorter, sort of a response piece to the first one. It's called Words from a Therapist. You were young, a good person who did some shitty things. You were never a bad person. You were an asshole when you were younger and you grew up. You changed. Don't carry that cross for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Connor. Our next reader is Annah Phen. Anna. Singer, I should say.
So I have a song called Growing Up that I decided to kind of stick with the original piece instead of editing it just because it flows a lot better. I'm probably not going to be on the mic when I do this, so hopefully I can project my voice good enough for you all to hear the lyrics.
Now some fiction from Jared Waugh. Jared.
Hello everyone, I apologize, I just have my iPad to work with right now. And I think I might need my phone to act as a hotspot because my iPad is not playing nice with the school Wi-Fi. This is just a small excerpt from longer story I'm working on called Reapers from the perspective of one of the main characters. Chapter 1. Oh. Thank you. Chapter 1. Gablian. Water dripping down her face, Gablian looked into the bathroom mirror and saw everything that she had expected to see. The dark green wallpaper of the single bathroom stall peeling off, exposing drywall behind it. The air duct, painted white with specks of dark brown, appeared inverted from its actual position, but was still visible just behind her head. A solitary fly buzzed around the fluorescent light above. its buzz breaking the silence, its journey being told through inverted reflection. Then there was her. Her mask off, Gabriel could take a look at the features that no one else really saw. Her face still a narrow spade, her ears still intact, reaching back, the tips level with the top of her forehead. A few strands of hair, some light blonde and some light gray, fell in different directions across her forehead, having escaped from the ponytail that had encased them. Gray skin pulled tight over her face, sunken cheekbones. She willed her gums to part, bringing her teeth to the light. Not lighter, not darker, not any less sharper than when she had last checked. She looked in the instruments of her observation, her eyes, just as gold as they had been in her most recent memories, with brown irises resting at their center. It was as though Gabriel couldn't recall what she looked like, or that she had anything against looking in a mirror. She knew what she looked like just as much as anyone who wasn't a narcissist did. On the job, though, over the course of many jobs, things changed. Armor was pierced, dented, and lost. Bones were cracked or pulled. Cuts were opened. Scars were acquired. She could feel it in her body, feel it register in her mind, when something changed, but she couldn't picture it in her mind. So the occasional glance in the mirror was needed to replace it now and then. A new reference photo to draw from, to see how far she'd come and what she had lost. Unfortunately, the target from her last job had to break out of their bonds and put up a fight before Gabriel could drop them off and collect her payment. It was an easy fight as they went, but the asshole had to go and break her bathroom mirror before she went down. So for lack of a better option, it was the mirror in the single bathroom stall in the dive bar where Gabriel took in her reflection and reflected. She saw everything she had expected to see and was satisfied. It suddenly registered for Gabriel that her face was wet and rapidly drying. She looked down at her hands, clad in brown leather gloves with armor on the outside, damp from holding the water that she had used to splash her face and recenter herself. She probably should have taken them off before doing that, but it would have taken time that she did not want to spend. Not on that action, not in this place. Gabriel turned the faucet on again and cupped her gloved hands under the water flow, this time bringing the water to her mouth and sipped it up. It had a sharp metallic taste to it, which assured Gabriel that her decision not to wait until she got back to her own ship with her own bottled water to do this was a mistake. She quickly switched the water in her mouth twice, gargled, and then spit out the residue into the sink. Her mouth less dry, if not cleaner, than it was before, Gabriel made the move to part her cloak, unclip the headpiece from her belt, and place it back on her head. After making sure all the straps were secure and in their proper place, Gabriel took another fleeting glance at her reflection. The brown headpiece covered the front of her face, with a small opening in the back less than an inch wide to let her ponytail through. An opening in the bottom of the mask allowed her mouth to show, and the eyepieces above were wide enough to show and highlight her eyes. The headpiece allowed no one else to see what Gabriel had seen in her reflection, as it had always been for the longest time, as she had preferred it. With that, Gabriel made her way to the exit, her arms tucked in tight to her body, under her cloak, raising a hand under it to push the door open. In the hallway that led from the restroom to the bar, a woman who came barely up to Gabriel's shoulders stood in the middle of the hallway, obviously heading in the direction that Gabriel was coming from. As she marched forward, Gabriel could hear the woman asking, "Excuse me, did you know that's the ladies' room?" Gabriel ignored her and took one step to the right, moving past the woman and continuing to the bar, not bothering to look back to see what kind of expression was left on the woman's face. And that is all I have right now.
Thank you, Jared. And our next reader is Paul Melkonian. Paul?
I have to do better at naming things, because I didn't name this, but it was, my class got canceled. I was in the cafeteria across the street. It was December 7th, 2023, a day that will not live Waiting for me? At least a couple people here might have got that reference. There are people you meet, you know them right away. From their confirmation, they are real, true, with only the slightest of protective pretense. They are just them, so you can be just you. An osmotic knowing of equal exchange, unspoken, tangible, more authentic than words. And this was, I was probably printing something, because, you see, and then I just wrote this. There's dust on my printer. It's from my old home. I lived there through thick and thin. I try not to miss it. I usually don't. But it strikes me that maybe I should. It was the first place that was really only mine. Mine and my beautiful Ginger. She loved the yard, the critters, the traffic, her cousins walking by. I lost her there, among other things. But I got back my printer, and its dust, and hers. And along the way, other recoveries, with the hope of more to come.
Thank you, Paul. Shift a little bit because we had somebody not show. No. So our next reader is going to be Matthew Tighe. Matthew.
Can you guys hear me okay? So I didn't have any work prepared, so I decided to read one of my favorite authors, Edgar Allan Poe. He's a huge inspiration for me, so I decided to choose his poem of Alone. So this is Alone by Edgar Allan Poe. From childhood's hour, I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I cannot bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow. I cannot awaken my heart to joy at the same tone, and all I loved alone. Then, in my childhood, the dawn of a most stormy life was drawn from every depth of good and ill. The mystery which binds me still, from the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder in the storm, in the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue of a demon in my view. That's all I got.
Thank you, Matthew Poe. Our next reader, fiction from Will Jewell. Will.
I'm reading some fiction, specifically fan fiction, of a series called Destiny. My piece is titled A World of Names and Titles. Roughly shy of a week after Crow, Amanda, and Roscoe had returned from Europa, they were all spending their Monday night at Roscoe's apartment. He had invited them over in hopes of perhaps starting a weekly ritual that they could do, where they would all hang out at his apartment away from the rest of the world, at least for now. It was to create a space where they could try to live once in a while, to be happy with each other. When everyone arrived, Roscoe noted that Crow was still wearing his armor, hunter armor. The mask made sense, at least. Crow spoke up after they all sat down in the living room. Hey Roscoe, why don't you have numbers after your name? Every other exo does, but you specifically don't. Were you never a Seb? Amanda started to smile because she knew the answer, but tried to hide it as not to spoil it for Crow. I actually don't know, answered Roscoe. For some reason, I didn't know my name back when I was res, which is pretty weird. Wait, you didn't have a name? Then where did Roscoe come from? Well, before I settled on the name Roscoe, I was just called the Guardian, or Guardian. It was just titles bestowed on me that people addressed me as. For a while, everyone called me Young Wolf because of the SIVA crisis I helped with Saladin 5 years ago. The SIVA crisis? Crow asked. What was that? Before your time, answered Amanda. Long before your time, actually. Roscoe was actually still pretty fresh back then too. Fallen got their hands on Golden Age nanotech, continued Roscoe. The same nanotech that had killed off all the Iron Lords, except Saladin. So it was kind of a big deal that we took care of it. Not as important as, say, Crud or Skolash, but still pretty dangerous nonetheless. But we're getting way off track here. Young Wolf just kind of stuck, I suppose, despite the bunch of other titles people called me, and eventually I got tired of not really having a name. So, Roscoe noticed at this moment that Amanda and Crow both started to lean in, eager to hear about how he got his name. I named myself after a diner nearby that I frequent, Roscoe's Diner. It's sort of a Greek place. That's it? Amanda disappointingly asked. Yeah, come on, Guardian, it's gotta be better than that. Or is it embarrassing? Is that why you won't tell us? Added in Crow. That absolutely is embarrassing. And it's true. I mean, why would I lie about this? Roscoe went on as he got up from his chair to move over to the window, moving the blinds. It was a foggy day with light showers. A bright, foggy day. Come over here. You can see down there. It says Roscoe's Diner. Crow and Amanda both got up to come over and see. And sure enough, down in the courtyard was the front of an establishment titled Roscoe's Diner. Huh. So did they know you co-opted their name for yourself? Crow asked. An immediate worried frozen look came over Roscoe's face. Wait, so they don't even know you took up the name Roscoe? And how do you order anything down there? Amanda also asked with a bit of a chuckle. Well, I still simply go by Guardian there, okay? I'm pretty sure no other Guardians even live near here, so it works out. Actually, I'm pretty sure Marcus Wren has an in-city workshop nearby here, which all things considered is actually rather dangerous considering it's him, Crow added. You think Zavala knows about it? No, both Amanda and Roscoe responded. I mean, Zavala's especially preoccupied right now given the whole new Cabal Empire situation, continued Roscoe. Amanda's eyes lit up as if she just made a great discovery. We should go down there, right now. A grin started to grow on Crow's face. No, I know what you're planning and I'm not going to tell them I call myself Roscoe, Roscoe stated firmly. Oh, I wasn't talking to you, Roscoe. I was talking to my friend here, Amanda says while putting an arm around Crow. We are going to go down to the diner there and tell them you've called yourself Roscoe after them specifically. Unless, of course, Roscoe began to give a glare that could cut through a cabal to the both of them. You come with us and do it yourself. Slowly as the glare and disapproval washed away, only a looming sense of embarrassment remained for Roscoe. As he began to sigh, he said, There's no way out of this where I win, is there? Nope, both Crow and Amanda cheerfully responded. They immediately began to run out of the apartment, not bothering to wait for Roscoe. Hey, wait! Roscoe shouted from his door down the hall of the apartment complex, quickly putting on an oversized hoodie he had hanging as well as slipping on some footwear that were all near the door. He quickly rushed to catch up to the others, as well as he could in slides, swinging the door closed to his apartment behind him on his way out.
Thank you, Will. Our next reader, Kayla Carlson, poetry from Kayla.
Hello everyone, I'm Kayla and I just have a short poem for you today. It's called Approaching Dawn. Tracing the inky lines of life, I fall between muted seconds. Looking into framed mossy eyes, give me a second chance at dawn. Stranded on the island in your mind, ever questioning my actions. Will I stain your smile tonight? Release me from the lurking thoughts and let me leave them all behind. Please fall into my waiting arms. Can I keep you by my side? Rewrite the patterns I endure. Rotate my kaleidoscope mind. I hope you want this just as much as the morning sun aches to rise. Can I stay with you forever? You guide me to a brighter light.
Thank you, Kayla. Stepping up. Our next reader, Joe Nardoni. He's here for Joe Nardoni.
A couple of you may have heard this one before, but it kind of captures me where I'm thinking about stuff right now. This is about a man who's making his final decision. Okay. And I call it Forget-Me-Not, Found in a Weathered Pocket. Please don't let me forget what my arm bone is called, that made you laugh. Your bright gray tumbling all over my heart like a clumsy donkey kicking its heels, spilling coffee from the cup. Please don't be angry at this awkward love note. I see the frown from years ago when you thought I had no words for you. No words for you when all I have left, the names of things, dodging my tongue like carnival whack-a-mole, gypsters, knowing I married you, loved you, your dress gone black, dead circuit, toes too numb to curl, your hands on me cold, gone like the kiss of winter on my skin, slick snick, slide the shell into the magazine, gun oil glinting, receiver blue in weak lamplight, thumbskin stain. I told you, go. And now I am lonely alone. No calendar dates, out the door of the cabin. Left, the woods all moth and pinecone crackle. I follow. White stripes and tree trunks. Someone I once knew guiding me. Blue blossomed bed, nestled a bearded tree. I wait among blooms, my best friend's name, gone like old perfume, and gray cloud lopes, lazy shadows, always late, out there circling, panting, my fingers belly tired, whirligig creaks I see. The wolf's eyes are golden, Midas blossoms in the gray cloud, hackles raised, leaning forward, smelling my disease. I don't belong. I never wanted this. My last kiss, cold steel, cordite breath. There are holes in my brain, darling. The shot will miss most of me. I will feed the flower bed in springtime, but the wolf comes first.
Thank you, Joe. Our next reader is Bobby Christopher.
Alright, we got a short story based off of SpongeBob. The Salty Spittoon. You may drive by the Salty Spittoon and think it's a condemned building. I would agree with you if I hadn't come here for the last 20 years of my life. I mean, it's an honest guess when looking at the metal paneling exterior that is coated with rust, dirt, and dried blood from the years of abuse. Also, its old yellow wooden sign that is so rotted you could barely read what it says anymore. Doesn't matter though, because the only people that come to this place are the same people that come every day. I mean, where else could you get a cold beer in this bottomless wasteland of a town? I mean, there's probably a few other places, but the Salty Spittoon has the cheapest, I think. You may think, what is it like in the Salty Spittoon? Well, like the outside, the inside isn't winning any beauty contest. or a good grade on the health inspection. The salty spittoon is filled with a bunch of mixed mashed bar stools and tables, some made of wood, some metal, some even have other bars' names on it. The owner gives you three free beers if you bring her bar furniture. The one I sit at can be seen on a YouTube video of a man running out while his son has faked a seizure in the corner. But hey, what else can you expect from the not so famous salty spittoon? Another question you may have is, who in their right mind would even want to go to this place? Well, let's just say they aren't the role model citizens you find at a TGI Fridays. When you walk in through the swinging saloon doors, your eyes will be met with a dozen mean mugging bikers and construction workers who are covered in tattoos and with rap sheets that would cover the walls of this bar. You may also get the occasional homeless man who scrounged up enough cash to get drunk. They're not so bad as long as they're not tweaking out on drugs. If they are, well, all I can say is I've seen those squirmy little weasels take down 3 bikers before they could wrestle him to the ground and silver him up by whacking him sillier than he already was. After they tucked him in bed by throwing him out in the back door in a pile of trash, a Polaroid picture of him passed out in the trash hangs on Miss Sally's famous wall, titled "Kill on Sight," next to all the other lucky chaps who made it on our bad side. By now you got a pretty good picture of the salty spittoon but after you meet the owner, it all kind of starts making sense why this place is the way it is. The owner is Miss Sally Spittoon, daughter of Bill Spittoon, the founder of this fine establishment, and granddaughter of famous bank robbers Jim and Jill Spittoon. Sitting at 150 pounds, soaking wet with long blonde hair, is probably the most feared person that walked these old wood floors. There's a lot to fear about Miss Sally. For one, she's a burly woman with a physique built from years of underground boxing that her dad threw her in at the age of 14. If her fighting skill didn't scare you, the 3 dogs that are only loyal to her will: Bruiser, Luna, and Peaches. Sally's famous entourage that would lay down their lives for her. Bruiser and Luna, the muscle, 2 twin Rottweilers that could take down any man in this building, if Sally willed it. Then you have the leader of the trio, Peaches, a chihuahua that would rip out your Achilles and use it as a chew toy. I've seen it before, she has a collection. Lastly, the cherry on top of the list of things that you fear about Miss Sally would be the 9mm pistol that hangs at her hip. Legend says that she has never had to use it though. Her hands and the dogs have always been enough, and she only uses the pistol to break up bar fights, a common occurrence here at the Salty Spittoon. Now that Salty Spittoon isn't pretty, and its customers are some of the worst, its owner's dog might bite out your Achilles, and you may catch a disease from this place. You know what this place does have? Beer. It has beer, and that's pretty much it. Do what you want with this information.
Thank you, Bobby. And now, next up is Jack Richardson. Jack. He's been at the saloon.
All right, give me 20 seconds. I wrote this an hour ago, and I can't read, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. What is wrong with this world? We have the biggest issue we have ever seen. You understand what I'm saying? And no one is talking about it. I look on the news, it's not there. You know what I'm talking about. And no one seems aware of it. And this is where the problem lies. My own parents are damn fools. My best friend, an outright idiot. Are you willing to go to war with me? How could no one care for an issue this big? I can't stress enough how big of an issue this is. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Our next reader is Engerman. Elle.
Good afternoon, fellas. I'm Elle. I'm gonna read some poems. I got 3 poems on the docket. So these are from the chapbook that I'm working on, and if you've ever been in a reading where I read, you've probably heard some of them before. They're called ugly poems, about, ugly feelings and such. Alright, so we're gonna start with ugly poem number 9. You are my perfect nighttime specter, only appearing in the corners of my vision. My reaching fingers pass through frigid air. Curtains flap cautiously against my open window, always too late. You call when you want me, when you want pieces of me. You break them off and keep them. Eventually I'll have nothing left for you or anyone. Maybe next time I won't answer. I won't play this clumsy game, as if I could resist. Alright, and now we have ugly poem number 10. Get it off my chest, the burning skin. Drop the heavy weights and fly away. I want her gone, who they see when they look at me. I want her gone, but she will be missed. I want to distance myself from the feminine, the female. I want to be seen and loved as me. I'm afraid of what is to come. What if I do not like who they make? What if I miss her, being her? A creature, torn from the teat, weaned too soon or too late. Alright, then I got one more, ugly poem 11. I have my father's old anger. I've kept it safe all these years, like fire under my skin. I carry my father's screaming words, wrapped in paper like a bouquet, not nearly as sweet. I bear my father's fetid pain, years of being beaten down. I store it with my own. Thank you.
Thank you, well, good work. Our next reader, a fiction from Joe McCarthy. Joe.
This is from my book, The Revelation of the Chapter 2 of the Dana and the Creation of a Dween. Above all, the third generation of gods, being first amongst the Dana and closest in will to Denad, was Anude. For through Anude did the Dana perform their work, and Anude oversaw and had dominion over the rest of the Dana, lest Lanx, who was at once Anude's rival and equal before Denad. For though it was the will of Denad to become, and through becoming reveal, it was also the will of Denad to ever be born anew, and so did Lanx temper creation with faithful destruction, and labor to bring Adween back to moldless form. Thus was Lanx second amongst the third generation of gods. Thus when Anude came to Adween, he was delighted in the vision of habitation immutably foreseen, for he beheld then the eternal purpose of Denad, free of exorbitant desires and beyond compare in excellent mercy. For the revelation was substantially decreed before the author of Denad's sovereign sentence. He beheld Adween with all of its extols and glories, with their innumerable praises, painted in sacred image and hearkened to exultant hymn. Lo, when Anude fell to his knees in tribute to the glory of the realm, it was hidden from his sight, and he perceived Denad as a memory. For Anude, who was unquestioned in his greatness, and like in wisdom and effectual might to Denad, was but a lapsed power, and could not conceive fully of Denad. Thither, all that Anude ordained was revocable to Denad's higher greatness, and blasphemed in comparison to the supreme will of Denad. Thus when Anude again gazed upon Adween, he saw that the vision of Denad was unfulfilled, and that where he beheld the loving glory of creation there was naught but far waste. For then the land was unetched by time, and the sediments were unlayered, as all stretched vast without variation, as though devoid of grace. Thus with immense burden Anude fell to Adween, and was made humble before Denad in his servitude. And Anude wept unto the earth until it was made clay. Thither Anude took of the earth and the clay before him, and fashioned it into the figure of Calet, the smith. And Anude did bestow Calet with the vision of creation. For Anude was at command of the great might of Denad, did he bestow unto Calet an aspect of the imperishable flame, with which to mold Adween in all of its multifaceted glory. Thus Calet filled the core of Adween with brimstone, whose acrid yellow crystals were sparked to fuel the molten heart of Adween. For with the burning of the imperishable flame, the core was made heavy with ore, as the metals penetrated deep to form Calet's furnace. Now, with his iron white and his brazier lit, Calet took up his hammer and set about homing the mantle of his hearth. As Calet labored to fashion a dween, he made sure to keep his furnace blazing hot, keeping intended to the imperishable flame in duty before new day. Calet, whispered the flame in the darkness, and then there was not darkness. Are you afraid of the darkness here beneath the earth? It must be lonely. Calet ignored the flame at first, and with the beating of his hammer, the face of a dween was sculpted in all of her majesty and splendor. For the exultant beauty of a dween was tremendous for even the Dana, who were so like to the divine to behold. For where there had been no angle nor abstraction or shape conceived of, now in the orange stone-rose mountains erupted skyward from blue valley as they rippled out to purple horizon. And such was Calet's mastery of form that no mound nor outcropping nor jagged spire was alike in wrought, but all lovingly fashioned from boundless patient craft. Yet to inspire to the horizons was to turn from the fount of Calet's labors, for yon were the arid steps that lay cracked and splintered as a fractal mosaic, as he inspired arches and pulpits into the land. Thus Calet chiseled chasm and ravine, or kneaded and folded lapland to smooth out into gentle plain, even as the land still was barren with vermilion clay and gray outcropping of stone. Is it lonely in the darkness? The flame ever whispered to Calet. I could be your friend. No, without the darkness, the radiance does nothing. You're in the darkness of confusion, are you not? Let me light the way for you. I am a small thing, but I can fill the world. So Calet fed the flame further, bellowing it with his great breath. The marvels that Calet aspired to would be grander still than the pale vision which a new day had revealed unto him. Wouldn't you like someone to shine for you, Calet? I could wrap you in my warm and gentle light, and we could dance forever. I don't want for anything else but to shine for you, Calet. A new day does not understand my light, Calet. Won't you take me from him and save me? The flame tempted Calet. And that's it.
Thank you, Joe. Our next reader is Marc Colangeli. Marc.
Hello. I have 2 poems to read. I wonder with soft delight and painterly quiet the stillness of sound. I heard it quick and thread through palm. I cupped an eager lullaby. I let it bathe in filtered webs and wholly became, with its drums abound. They battered thick and peered through my ears, a sweetful soft accord, unbound. The tether twine in saccharine silk, unwound and strung the drums to shreds. And with a final pattering glimpse, I caught the red eye of soundless wisps. I, the author, though one of many, each person a person, with feeling like me, struggle as I do, and questions that I ask. We are ordinary in our unique sharedness. I love for you, of you, just you, all you. Thanks. I have a second poem as well. My heart's racing, sorry. If the rain comes, all that we can see, slowly speaking discreetly, let us a living deluge, alive as a housing of scripture. Let us a blithe calming or an ode to the lisp of the solitary sounding. The puddle, blinking, gathering, marching forth, populate, promulgate, and swallow thick, by defiant curb to asphalt, the northward rains of heavenly pithy and plenty. Elucidate the patter of many, sonorous now a skyward psalm, elucidate swallowed whole the asphalt. An elder echo of pebbled brook and cobbled hoof and parsed through paper mill would sound another glowful eve. A swift gate of vagrant wind fetches the scents elsewhere, like the saints in softer sky. Supine on the plum-soaked carpet, and I listened, there, my other grandmother, and her vigilant cigarette, a hum of umber in the thundering dark. And the same wind, shy to my face, warm from the final breaths of the closing porch door. An invocation for evergreen whispers, the tributary we all call pleasure within the cusp of your hand.
Thank you, Mark. And our next reader is Matthew Scott.
Hi. I'll be reading one of my favorite poems, When Love Arrives by Sarah Kay and Phil Kay. I knew exactly what love looked like in 7th grade. Even though I hadn't met love yet, if love had wandered into my homeroom, I would have recognized him at first glance. Love wore a hemp necklace. I would have recognized her at first glance. Love wore a tight French braid. Love played acoustic guitar and knew all my favorite Beatles songs. Love wasn't afraid to ride the bus with me. And I knew. I must be searching the wrong classroom, just must be checking the wrong hallways. She was there, I was sure of it. If only I could find him. But when love finally showed up, she had a bowl cut. He wore the same clothes every day for a week. Love hated the bus. Love didn't know anything about the Beatles. Instead, every time I tried to kiss Love, our teeth got in the way. Love became the reason I lied to my parents. I'm going to Ben's house. Love had terrible rhythm on the dance floor, but made sure we never missed a slow dance. Love waited by the phone because she knew if her father picked up, it would be, hello? Hello? I guess they hung up. And love grew, stretched like a trampoline. Love changed. Love disappeared slowly, like baby teeth, losing parts of me I thought I needed. Love vanished like an amateur magician. Everyone could see the trap door but me. Like a flat tire, there were other places I had planned on going. But my plans didn't matter. Love stayed away for years, and when Love finally reappeared, I barely recognized him. Love smelled differently now, had darker eyes. A broader back. Love came with freckles I didn't recognize. New birthmarks, a softer voice. Now there were new sleeping patterns, new favorite books. Love had songs that reminded him of someone else, and songs that I didn't like to listen to. So did I. But we found a park bench that fit us perfectly. We found jokes that make us laugh. And now Love makes me fresh homemade chocolate chips. But Love will probably finish most of them for a midnight snack. Love looks great in lingerie, but still likes to wear her retainer. Love is a terrible driver, but a great navigator. Love knows where she's going, it just takes her 2 hours longer than she planned. Love is messier now, not as simple. Love uses the words boobs in front of my parents. Love chews too loud. Love leaves the cap off the toothpaste. Love uses smiley faces in her text messages. And turns out, Love shits! But Love also cries, and Love will tell you you are beautiful, and mean it. Over and over again, you are beautiful. When you first wake up, you are beautiful. When you've just been crying, you are beautiful. When you don't want to hear it, you are beautiful. When you don't believe it, you are beautiful. When nobody else will tell you, you are beautiful. Love still thinks, you are beautiful. But love is not perfect and will sometimes forget when you need to hear it most. You were beautiful. Do not forget this. Love is not who you were expecting. Love is not what you can predict. Maybe love is in New York, already asleep. You were in California, Australia, wide awake. Maybe love is always in the wrong time zone. Maybe love is not ready for you. Maybe you are not ready for love. Maybe love isn't just the marrying type. Maybe the next time you see love is 20 years after the divorce. Love looks older now, but just as beautiful as you remember. Maybe love is there for a month. Maybe love is there for every firework, birthday party, hospital visit. Maybe love stays. Maybe love can. Maybe love shouldn't. Love arrives exactly when love is supposed to leave, and love leaves exactly when love must. When love arrives, say, welcome, make yourself comfortable. If love leaves, ask her to leave the door open behind her. Turn off the music, listen to the quiet, whisper, thank you for stopping by.
Matthew, our next reader, is a picture from Jaden Croteau.
Hey, how you guys doing? So I'm going to be reading a chapter of Who Goes There, the novella that formed the basis of the thing. Let's see. This is chapter 9, by the way. None watched more tensely than Conant. A little sterile glass test tube, half filled with straw-colored fluid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of the clear solution Dr. Copper had prepared from the excuse me. From the drops of blood from Conant's arm. The tube was shaken carefully, then set in a beaker of clear, warm water. The thermometer read blood heat. A little thermostat clicked noisily, and the red hot plate began to glow as the lights flickered slightly. Then little white flecks of precipitation were forming, snowing down in the clear straw-colored fluid. Lord, said Conant. He dropped heavily into a bunk, crying like a baby. 6 days, Conant sobbed. 6 days in there, wondering if that damn test would lie. Gary moved over silently, his arm, and slipped his arm across the physicist's back. It couldn't lie, Dr. Copper said. The dog was human immune, and the serum reacted. He's all right, Norris gasped. Then the animal is dead. Dead forever? He is human, Copper spoke definitely, and the animal is dead. Kenneth burst out laughing hysterically. McCready turned toward him and slapped him in the face with a methodical 1-2, 1-2 action. The cook laughed, gulped and cried for a moment, and sat up rubbing his cheeks, mumbling his things vaguely. I was too scared. Lord, I was too scared. Norris laughed bitterly. You think we weren't, you ape? You think maybe Conant wasn't? The ad building stirred with a sudden rejuvenation. The voices laughed. The men clustering around Conant spoke with unnecessary loud voices, jittery, nervous voices, were lividly friendly again. Somebody called out a suggestion, and a dozen started their skis. Blair might recover. Dr. Copper fussed with his test tubes in nervous relief, trying solutions. The party of relief for Blair's shack started out the door, skis clapping noisily. Down the corridor, the dogs set up a quick yelping howl as the air of excited relief reached them. Dr. Copper fussed with his huge tubes, or with his tubes, whatever. Excuse me. McCready noticed him first, sitting on the edge of the bunk, with two precipitin whitened tubes of straw-colored fluid, his face whiter than the stiffened tubes, silent tears slipping down from his horror-widened eyes. McCready felt a cold knife of fear pierce through his heart, and a freeze on his breast. Dr. Copper looked up. Gary, he said hoarsely. Gary, for God's sake, come here. Commander Gary walked toward him sharply. Silence clapped down in the ad building. Conan looked up, rose stiffly from his seat. Gary, the tissue from the monster, precipitates too. It proves nothing. Nothing but the dog was a monster immune too. That one of the two contributing blood, one of us two, you and I, Gary, one of us is a monster.
Thank you, Jaden. Our next reader is Lizzy Haynes. Lizzy.
Hi, my name is Lizzy. I'll be reading 3 poems today, one of which I wrote in between when people were reading. They all cover very sensitive material, so if you need to step out at any time, it will not hurt my feelings. And the first poem is called, sorry, just give me this. Did you hear? Hey, did you hear what that girl over there has been saying? She told me her ex did things to her when they were together, things that she didn't consent to. I don't know though. Her ex seems like a nice guy. And the thing about that girl is, she's a pushover. I bet she tried to say no and just couldn't get the words out. Her ex didn't know she didn't want him doing those things. Yep, it's all her fault. I told her so myself, and that's why me and her aren't friends anymore. Oh, the ex? Yeah, me and him hang out a lot. You should meet him. He's a really, really great guy. Alright, thank you. And the next poem is called How. Again, you can step out at any time. Sorry. People say you didn't know what you were doing. That you knew you were crossing a line but didn't know how big. That you feel shitty about all this. That you still love me. That you've learned your lesson. How could you not know? You're a big boy now, 23. How could you not understand that when I say wait, or when I'm trying to sleep, that it is not the time? I'm not a toy. I lie in bed at night and God, it's like I can still feel you. You may think it was just a mistake and that you can learn from and move past, but I will never feel clean again. Alright, and this is the last shorter poem that will hopefully end this all on more of a hopeful note. This one is called Not Broken. So many things reminded me of you. The bed where it all happened, the gifts you gave me. I thought I would never move on. Thing is, I can get a new bed. I can get rid of those gifts. Things can be beautiful again. And even if it takes a while, I won't stop until I get there. Too much for everybody.
Thank you, Lizzy. And you did not show yes. So anybody else feeling the inclination to step up who didn't? Okay. I will maybe finish us off with a couple poems. I had hoped doing some work, acrostic poetry with in response to an artist, a Somerville artist, and I was hoping to pull up some images, but had trouble with those. I'll read one anyway. This is called Blue-Green Fog, in response to Matt Carano's painting, Red Boat, Sky, Water. Blue-green fog. Drifting beyond horizon's edge into the blue-green fog of tomorrow, my red speck of boat is mere memory now, in an ocean sky without end. Motor shot, oars cracked, broken, current and winds whisper nearly imperceptibly along the gunnels. Dreaming beyond fog of some grip of land or sand beach, I spy a startle of rocky cliffs, sandstone and shale rising up to menace and hint at jagged unseens below this shrinking nautical mile. No sign of trees, vegetation, fresh water, or habitation. Dangling beyond words or dock lines to the familiar, I listen for songs from the depths through my hull, cast some redness on the ocean sky, and feel for returning ripples, watch for gull or albatross, and wait for what will become. And I was in California about a year ago, and this poem came out of driving. It's called Driving California's Route 1. The sun hangs above the Pacific's muscular waves, rolling onto seal-flecked beaches, tapping rhythmically at limestone cliffs. Out beyond the roaring waves of white, seabirds circle and dive, piercing a rippled patch of ocean, until a dark yawn breaks the surface, scattering the wings upward, then slowly shuts its great-lipped maw and slips back beneath the roiling surface again. The sun hangs above hairpins and cliff edges that have carved this country's coast since 1934, with roadsters, woodies, Cadillacs, Corvettes, campers, and tractor trailers of produce from family farms to co-ops to corporations. Their inland valleys now miles of watered green corduroy, rowed and picked by migrant workers, while hawks and vultures circle higher and higher. Beside the great Pacific, the sun hangs above scorched brown hills, scratched with dusty roads and tired fence posts that lean and twist. Bridges rumble over snaking sandy beds that have forgotten their watery names. In one blanched field where yellowed boulders of displeasure seem dropped by angry gods, a lone black steer has bowed his head in shame, muzzle nudging the earth, searching, searching. Well, how about a round of applause for all these wonderful It's supposed to change. I had PowerPoint that should have switched, but it doesn't seem to. There we go. Yes, coming up. Computer's acting funny here. Coming up on April 4th, we have MCC Visiting Writer Series featuring Kathleen Aguero on the Bedford campus, April 4th, Thursday at 12:30. Hope you can make it. Please add it to your calendar. She's got great work, and I have links to her website on our event page. Also coming up on April 17th at the Coffee and Cotton, where they have a regular Untitled open mic. We have our Middlesex night at the Untitled at 6 p.m. and hope you will come and read during the open mic period. The featured readers this April 17th are Middlesex students and alumni. There are 4 readers: Olivia Steen, Adriana Munoz, our current students, and you may have been in classes with them, and 2 alums, Ray Engaines and Lexi Perry. So come listen to them as featured readers and come cheer them on, and also sign up and read during the open mic beforehand. Also, open poetry and fiction reading on the Bedford campus coming up on May 2nd at 12:30, and immediately following is a Dead River Review celebration. Our issue number 9 will be coming out, and some of the editors are here. I teach that course, Creative Writing and Publishing, where students are working on editing, and want to strongly, strongly encourage everyone who read today to submit work to us. We're looking for your work. It's a wonderful online literary magazine. Check out the past issues, check out the submission guidelines, and do submit things. The deadline is coming up on the 14th, but we'd love to get it as soon as possible, so please send away. Outside the door, there are QR codes to the Dead River Review. It's deadriverreview.com if you want to pull it up and take a look if you're not aware. Also, there's a QR code to our Crib Running at Middlesex website, which has our readings and events page, and it has lots of archives of past events that you could view also. So hope you check that out and hope you submit. And again, thanks so much, and stick around, chat with people, have some more snacks and drinks. And thanks again for everyone who read and for everyone who showed to support others today.